trick-or-treating.
So sad. My parents made me stop trick-or-treating at like 12 or 13.
They made you stop?
Yeah. They were like, once you hit 13, you can't trick-or-treat anymore. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because. And it was really just because they didn't want to lug me around anymore to do it. But like, I had people to go with.
I see.
You should hit up a trunk or treat.
What is a trunk or treat?
Okay, so like at a bunch of churches that I went to, they had them, and so like it's just every like family parks their car in the lot, and they all like decorate their trunks, and each one has like a little game that you can play to get candy.
That's so cool.
I think I've seen that before, but I didn't know it was called a trunk or treat, which is much more delightful to say than like Halloween out of the back end of my truck.
Yeah,
Out of the back end of my truck.
The ass end of my truck. Halloween from the ass side of all cars.
you pull the candy from the exhaust pipe.
You like stuff the exhaust pipe and then you rev and then all the candy shoots out like a confetti cannon.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I want to do that now. But then it'd all be like, wouldn't it get like poisoned from the? Oh,
Wouldn't it melt?
No, because
You'd
like
think
carbon monoxide
It's
is
a
like
gas.
Yeah.
So maybe
It wouldn't like hurt the candy, but the candy would melt, like, because it would eventually like heat up.
Well, I mean, we're assuming that we're popping it real early.
Just like turn on the ignition, rev to 60 immediately.
There you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And never
Boom.
mind.
Yeah, not enough
Someone
time
should
to heat
test
up.
that.
I'm sure they have.
You know, like the classic prank, like the banana in the tailpipe.
I never really.
I don't know what
understood
that does.
Yeah, what does it do?
Do you
Someone
know
put an egg in my tailpipe once.
What
Wait,
happened to
what
it?
is going on? Wait, what?
Okay, there's like I don't know, there's like a trope in movies where like young rascal teenage boys are like putting a banana in the tailpipe of cars.
Uh-huh.
And I've never seen the effects of that.
I wonder if it's what is it called? Like it just stops up the exhaust for a bit and then it like explodes, like has a little like, what is it called when like, what is it called when you you know, like you think it's a gunshot, but it's not. It's a car backfiring.
Yes.
It causes a car to backfire. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. That could be it. I mean, someone, like I said, someone put an egg that's original but extremely ineffective because it just fell out while I was driving. I didn't even know. Someone else told me about it, and they're like, "Oh, they put an egg in your exhaust pipe." I'm like, "That's a waste of an egg."
Yeah,
Could have baked a cake.
Seriously.
I like how you went baked cake. I went scrambled eggs for like breakfast.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, I'm not a scrambled egg fan.
You don't
But
like scrambled eggs?
Well, I mean, they're just, it's not, I'll eat them, but it's like,
It's not your favorite thing in the world.
yeah.
You're not going out of your way to have scrambled eggs in the morning.
Yeah, but I am going out of my way to have cake
That is
Oh
true.
no, I definitely.
in the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Dude, cake for breakfast is honestly the alpha food.
No, yeah.
Like waking up and being like, cake. That is terrible. No, it can't be terrible for your teeth because it's just as bad as eating cake at any other time,
Yeah.
right?
And like donuts as well.
Yeah.
Like, why do you draw the line with like having donuts as a breakfast food, but cake can't be?
Yeah, why is that a line that we draw? That's a stupid line.
Well, then if you're gonna be asking that question, why do we make foods like have specific meals in the day anyways?
Well,
Like,
yeah, why?
why can't you have pancakes for dinner?
Exactly.
I do have pancakes for dinner.
I know, but why is there like a stigma? Like, why is it like, oh, you're having like breakfast for dinner? Like,
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Let's,
I want pancakes when I want pancakes.
yeah, down with the conventional system.
Yeah.
Let's,
but we can't let Taylor have pancakes whenever he wants because that's all he'll eat then
It
is
will be
pancakes.
It'll be pancakes and it'll be eggs and it'll be cake and that'll be just pancakes, cupcakes, and cake.
There you go.
There we go. No egg. I mean, egg in it, but like no, because you have to cook it with an egg. But like other than that, it's just any form of cake. All forms of cake. I will have all forms of cake at any point during the day, of which
at every point.
at
during
every
the day.
point during the
Yeah.
day, I will have every type of cake. I'm gonna have all the
Yep.
cake. All of your cake is mine now. Please deliver it to me.
What's your favorite kind of cake?
You
Just
know
all
what?
cake?
You know what? I've realized recently. I used to have like white because I'm a very bland person. Used to have like white cake with white icing every birthday, and I was like, I just don't know why I'm not enjoying this cake as much as I thought. And I realized I really like yellow cake.
Oh.
I don't know why. I just do. I don't know what flavor is.
What flavor?
yellow.
I was about to ask,
Yeah,
what flavor is
yeah.
yellow cake?
How does it taste different? Couldn't tell you, but I like it more. But I don't know why. Just
Ooh, dude, ice cream cake.
I can't. It's too cold. Why? Too cold for my teeth. Like, I mean, and it's sad because when I was a kid, I would literally down like bowls of sugar and ice cream. I'm not kidding, literal bowls of sugar and just bowls and bowls of ice, and like I would not without care in the world, right? And then nowadays, it's just like I can't have cold things. My teeth are like, hey, you know what it was like to be young? It's not that anymore.
Oh man.
It's not like that anymore. We were talking at work today. We were talking about you at work,
Oh,
and
I love that. That's great.
but
Yeah,
they were
let's tell the whole world exactly what people think of me. It's
No,
great.
it was nothing bad, obviously, but it was that you go to the hospital a lot. And so they were saying, I think it was Stanley who said it. It was like, Tayler goes to the hospital way too much for a 20-year-old.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm in the hospital like I should be 60 for the amount of times I've gone to the
Yes.
hospital.
Just for fun though.
Yeah, no, at this point it's just to see my friends.
Yeah, to catch up with the doctors.
Yeah,
It's a great place to meet people.
yeah,
Forget Tinder.
Yeah. What are you in for?
No, not in a hospital. No.
Oh man, I have a good hospital stories. I don't think I've told any of them on the podcast. Can today be one of them?
I guess.
Yay. So I have kidney stones once a year.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
I don't think I've said it on the podcast though.
Oh, you don't think you said?
I don't
You've
think
a-
so.
I can't tell if you're joking. You've 100% said it.
Oh, have I?
100%.
Okay, well then I have kidney stones.
That's why I was sarcastically asking, really?
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know. Like I say every week that we do this, I've already forgotten what we talked about in the episode I'm editing.
Okay, just go.
Okay, so I have frequent kidney stones. Last October, I had a really, really bad one, and it was stuck, and I had to go to the ER to like control the pain, and figure out exactly what was causing all the pain. And I get in, and mind you, this had been like after hours of me like writhing on the bathroom floor, and my roommate being half asleep, saying, "I'm texting people," and then falling back asleep without texting anyone and asking if they can drive us to the hospital.
No.
And then me being like, "Hey, how's the ride looking?" And he's being like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't text anyone." And so then we finally had gotten to the hospital, and luckily there weren't that many people there, but we still had to wait like 20 minutes for a bed to open up. And so they finally like wheel me back on a wheelchair. I'm crying and it's pain and I'm writhing. And I get on the bed and the nurse is like, "We're just gonna get some vitals and blah blah blah." It does all the nursey stuff, pops the IV in. And then the first thing that the doctor does when she comes in, she sits me up. She's like, "So what do you think it is?" I'm like, "It's definitely a kidney stone and it's on my right side." And she's like, "Your right side?" I'm like, "Yes, my right side." And then she goes, "Sorry in advance," and punches me in the kidney. Full on wallops me in the kidney. And it's like,
Wallops.
"Did that hurt?" And I'm like holding back puke, like, "Yeah, yeah, it hurt."
Oh.
Little baby.
Little baby, can't take a punch in the kidney.
That hurt.
It hurt.
Wait till you see the bill.
Oh my god, the bill hurts so much. Oh man, healthcare sucks.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, so that's the story of how I cried in front of a doctor.
You know, you've talked about that. I don't think that story before about you getting punched in the kidney, but we talked about you getting IVs and how you don't like getting them. Like, you don't like needles.
No, okay, so I like IVs better than I like needles.
IVs aren't they needles?
Well, they go in with the needle, but then they pop the needle out, and it's just the tube.
Okay,
The
never
needle
mind.
doesn't stay in.
I don't like any of it.
But yeah, that's why I like it better, because it's less like I'm sticking a needle in you for an extended period of time, and more like, here's a needle. Okay, bye needle, just a tube.
But there's still something in you that's not supposed to be in you.
Yeah, but it's rubbery, so it didn't feel as bad.
No, I don't like. I don't like.
I don't like.
I don't like.
After that lovely conversation, this is Media for the Intellectually Impoverished. I'm Taylor,
I'm Randi.
and that's
Jacob St. John.
woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah, another guest episode. Because
If you
we,
couldn't tell.
yeah, if you couldn't tell by now. So yeah, I think we need to do the typical guest stuff. So first things first, what do you do?
That's a great question. What do I do? That's something I ask myself in the mirror every morning.
I think it's something we all ask
what do I
ourselves.
do?
what am I doing? Like what? Why?
Yeah. Right now I'm a student doing run a YouTube channel like the previous guests.
Yeah.
Nice,
Same
nice.
one, in fact, Topographical Gang.
Nice, nice.
Um, I really enjoy writing, making music, and playing Ultimate Frisbee.
All those
Nice.
things sound way more interesting than the typical person's life.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well,
mean,
not
writing is
everyone can be
interesting.
as talented as I am.
Yeah,
I'm
not
just
everyone can
kidding.
be as
Whoa,
great as
whoa,
me.
whoa here.
I mean, we've got a true, like, this is the alpha guest here.
Yeah. No other guests will live up to me.
I'm a god among guests. I'm the god of guests.
Yeah, let me know when you get another guest who can fling a frisbee as far as I can. Chris doesn't count.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you were one of the founding members of Topographical Gang?
Yes. There's technically 2 founding dates, I suppose. One was whenever we actually hit the create channel button. That was like back in like August of 2018. And then I did that with Stockton. And then, but it wasn't until like February of 2019 whenever Chris and I uploaded the first video.
We have to also ask you the question that we ask all of our guests. What was your rank in high school? Do you know?
I think it was like 110 or something like that.
Great. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a terrible bit, but we have to keep
we
going
have to.
with it.
I mean, we've done it so
It'll-
many times.
It'll eventually be funny again. Like,
Will
we've
it?
hit that point. No, 100% it will.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're not just.
No, that's how like jokes work. Like they're funny and then they're not,
Not
funny,
funny,
and
and
then
then
they
funny
get funny
Once you
again.
get to the 7th guest, it'll be funny.
Yeah, it'll be-
We're in the not
Sorry
funny
for
part.
putting you through a dry spell.
It's good, but we have to. We just got to keep grinding
Yeah,
through
because it's just like
it. So today we're talking about. Today we're going to be talking about remakes.
remakes. That was
Remakes.
yes, dude. It's almost like you picked it.
Yeah, I did.
Whoa, what you picked? What? So
So bad.
that's a stupid bit. Yeah, remakes. So we've talked about remakes in the past on I believe our 2nd episode with
Yeah, we talked
Blockbuster.
about it really early on.
But we went just talked about sort of the idea of the Disney remakes and specifically what a remake is, and I don't remember what we talked about. It was months ago.
No, that's exactly what it was. It was Disney. And when you came up to me and told me remakes, I immediately thought Disney's and was like, yes, I get to talk about Disney again. And then he gave me the name of the movie and I was like, oh, that's not Disney.
That's not
It's not.
It's really, really not.
Well, we can talk about others. Doesn't have to.
Yeah,
just
I say
be-
we start with the movie that we watched.
Do you not have a video game? Was this the only plan?
Yeah, I don't have a video game this week. I mean, I have one for my recommendation. Oh, no, I can't use it as a recommendation again.
I didn't even think about a recommendation.
Right? Whoa.
I can bring up several video
Several
games.
perfect. But
Perfect. That's your job.
but I say we start with the movie because I have so much to talk about with that movie. So many gears to grind.
Okay.
Irks. So because neither of us, so you wanted us to watch Total Recall,
Yes.
right? But both the original and the remake,
Yes.
Obviously.
the reboot. But neither of us had seen either, and we didn't have enough time to go and watch both. So we just each picked one, and then we watched it, and then we sort of got together like 30 minutes ago, and we just
Yeah.
sort of barely talked about it.
No, we tried to save as much for the podcast because
Yeah.
we don't want to like.
So
then we'll
much.
have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Randy watched the original, and I watched the remake. I did not finish the remake because it was so abhorrently boring.
I know.
It was so bad.
How do you make a concept about a spy? So,
Yeah,
Do you
we
wanna
need a
get-
synopsis.
you give a synopsis.
All right,
Give a
so-
synopsis of the original.
so for the original Total Recall, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Nager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm
Gotta
always
put it-
scared to say his
You
name.
got to put it all together. If you say the last part by itself, no. You gotta,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There you go.
So he's his classic Arnold self, but he's also he's got like false memories of being a secret agent on Mars, and so then he goes to a company that can implant memories in your brain, and so he's like, I want this memory that is I want to have this false memory that is being a secret agent on Mars. And so he begins to like actually kind of fill that role that the memory was implanted in him. They didn't finish it, right? They didn't finish implanting the memory.
No, they didn't. They stopped halfway through.
Yeah, they stopped halfway through. But what's happening to him is the fantasy that he wanted to live, he's actually living it now. And so hijinks ensue. He goes to Mars, and he fights against an oppressive dictatorship and wins. And the whole time it's left ambiguous whether the whole thing is the fake memory or it's real life. But
That's exactly what I was just about to bring up, because I finished watching it a while ago, a couple minutes ago. But I just thought of that when you started like giving the whole thing. I was like, oh yeah, like how do we know if it was an actual like real life or a memory?
yeah,
and that's what drives me crazy about the remake. So in the remake, they really go for the hard sell of the let's make it like ambiguous in the beginning, like, oh, is it the memory, is it not? And then I don't feel like it ever pays off. I don't feel like they even really mention it as much, because I watched one scene, maybe two scenes with Randi while we were talking, because she was still watching it while we were talking about the other ones. In that scene, they go like in depth into detail. There's this entire scene where like a doctor guy comes up and is like, this is actually a memory. I'm not really here. This is all a memory. And in some sort of, I guess, a way to trick him. I didn't finish the scene. I left.
No, it was it was to try and trick him into thinking that he was like, it was an actual memory and that he wasn't a secret agent.
Yeah, so he wasn't a secret agent. And so, but like they never really, from what I mean, I gave up.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like I don't want to like call you out or anything, but you didn't finish the movie.
I couldn't. I tried so hard, but it's just like every point that they sold just didn't feel like it landed right.
Yeah, and I think the main reason is because, like, the reason why you feel very satisfied after watching that, do you?
Yeah, no, okay. I thought it was good, yeah.
Great, just making sure.
You're like, my point relies on this.
If you both came out hating your movies, I'd be like, no.
What's the point?
It's because, like, the original one, the 1991, leans so much into, like, the inherent goofiness, weirdness, and corniness of it that it's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
The problem with the 2012 version is that it tries to play everything as just very serious, grim.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. In the original, they go to Mars, you said. But on the new one, they're just on Earth. The fact that I didn't get to see it on Mars makes a whole lot of the weird stuff not land as well.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lady with 3 tits.
Oh, yeah. That's in the original, too.
Oh, yeah. But on the original, it makes sense. Because they're on Mars, and they have this thing where if you're on Mars, you get mutated.
Yeah, it's like because the radiation, like the domes they built weren't like good when they first started out, something like that.
Yeah, but then on this one, they're just on Earth. Lady's got 3 tits.
On Earth.
On Earth. And what baffles me is that in the original, there's the 3 tits, and I'm like, okay, that's a decision, right? That's a decision that you have to make. You're like, woman, 3 tits, go. But someone looked at that, looked at the whole movie, saw that scene, was like, you know what we need to bring back? The 3-titted woman. That's the key to this.
And you left before she came back again? Because the bad guys, they whatever the place is, the brothel, or I don't know what you call it.
It's like a bar, I think.
Yeah, bar, but like there's women.
It's a brothel.
Yeah. They come in and everybody like gets scared and they're like all quiet, and then she just comes like down the stairs and is like, hey, you looking for a good time, and shows her 3 tits again, and then he shoots her.
Yeah. It's so insane, dude.
Oh my god. In the reboot, he's just walking trying to find this place called Remake, which is where they do all the memory changing and stuff. And so he's just looking for that, and then she literally goes, are you lost? You looking for something? And he's like, yeah, you know where Remake is? And she's like, yeah, but I can show you a better time. We can make memories here. And then she just opens it, and there's 3 tits. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then he's like, no thanks. And I'm like, good choice. And then he walks on.
See, that's the difference between the 90s and the 2012s.
Yeah, seriously. What was going on in 2012? Like, he looked at that movie, the whole thing. There's so many things he could have chosen to keep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the 3-titted woman.
Yeah, like it.
Classic.
Oh man, it was so awkward because, like you said, they're trying to paint everything as serious. Like I can see the 90s one being painted as not so serious. Like you watched it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I personally don't think that they went into it being like funny and they were trying to make it funny. I feel like on some level they were still trying to make it like a serious movie, but it doesn't sound like it was that, like it wasn't as much as they were trying to in the 2012 version.
Yeah, because this one was very noir. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So noir is a style of film that typically you saw with detectives back in the black and white, and it was just like, oh, there's a man.
It's very
and
dark,
they're dark.
grimy things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd describe it as like angsty.
Yeah, it is very angsty. But yeah, so what is your take on the fact that this exists?
It's why.
Just why.
That's the take, is why. Like, at least in like video games to a certain extent, I can understand remakes. Like, okay, you want to bring a game to a new generation that hasn't had the chance to play it before. You want to up the graphics, you want to change the controls, you want to change stuff that didn't work. But like movies, I just don't understand it, because like the only thing that you could really possibly hope to change in a movie is like maybe CGI, because you can always watch any movie on a screen, and like the great movies, the truly great movies that you'll see will like transcend time.
Yeah.
Not to sound pretentious or anything, but like, like there's a reason why we still know the name of like Charlie Chaplin, Orson Welles, all of them, like all the dudes from the early days of film, is because their movies were so great. And that's why we're watching them, learning from them in school today. But like, why do you feel the need to remake something that's already great? Is the
Are
question.
there people remaking like Charlie Chaplin movies and things like that?
Not that I know of, but like,
but just the idea of that.
But that's an interesting thing though, because why is no one making remakes of like Orson Welles, like Charlie Chaplin, but people make remakes of movies from like the 80s and the 90s? Like,
yeah, and I think that it's just that, we talked about nostalgia a couple of weeks ago. And it's just that nostalgia of the movie and bringing that to a new generation, being like, I can take this and then spin it. But I think that the true nature of a remake in any sort of format should be to expand upon the ideas of the original.
okay, but so I get that. No, 100%, I get that. But I kind of get what Jacob, it's weird to call
St.
you
John.
St. John, yeah.
Yeah.
Is talking about. You can't do that with a movie. Like, really the only thing you can do is like bump up the like special effects. You can't like change the movie, because then it's not a remake. It's then a sequel, because you're adding like a new storyline into it, which it kind of sounds like, because the movie, the 2012 version that you watched, it doesn't sound like that was like a remake, because they never go to Mars. That was the whole point, was that he went to Mars because he was a secret agent.
Yeah, I think it could be. I mean, it's more of a reboot, kind of.
Well, then what's the difference between a reboot and a remake?
I don't know. I think maybe a reboot is like you're rebranding something as a different style, whereas a remake is you're just taking it and doing it again. But it's the same plot. It hits the same beats. So like it's the same. Essentially, it's the same story.
It
but
is
just told through a different format and with different actors and different, cinematography. But there are examples, I think, of remakes that worked really well. Like, I would say we talked about Beauty and the Beast, where you're taking an animated film and you're turning it into a live action format. I think that worked really well. And I'm not saying that every single, one of the Disney remakes kicks ass or anything. Like, there's plenty of them that don't. But, I think they hit the mark. Have you seen any of
the Disney remakes?
I was forcibly dragged to Aladdin.
Oh no!
So like we were working at camp, and so they're like, we're gonna take you to the theaters and show you a movie before camp begins, and we're like, great. And it was Aladdin, the remake. And so I guess like my question there is like, why would you like ever have a reason to need to view that one over the original? Like when all is said and done, like 30 years from now, which one are you going to show? Are you going to show like the original Aladdin or the remake one? My money's on the original.
On the original, yeah,
No,
definitely.
Yeah. So no, that brings up. So I now I kind of changed my answer. I do think it's about different audiences. It's easy when you talk about like children's movies, especially with Disney, because I watched those as a child, and I'm assuming everybody else who watched the original like animated movies were children at the time, but now we can watch them from like an adult perspective, and that's what we're expecting from those remakes, are to have more adult themes and like underlying tones.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they're pandering towards kids, not that, like Disney's meant to pander towards children.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's their thing. But I think the fact that they're pandering to kids is a bit of a hindrance on the ability to attack those more adult themes.
See, but I think we've completely gotten off. I mean, we're talking about Disney again. It's what I wanted.
This is where you wanted it to go.
No, I planned the whole thing. But it's again what you were talking about. It's based on nostalgia. Like that's the whole Money. It's all money.
It's all money.
We haven't said it yet, but it's all money. It's
It
just
is.
money. I was just about to look up like how much the budget was for Total Recall and how much it made and all that, but I'll do that in a second.
Who cares?
I want to know because obviously it was based in money, but I want to know how much money was
I don't
based
think
in
it
it.
was enough money.
Oh, well, obviously it wasn't enough money.
It's just I think that the biggest thing for me is if you're going to remake something, it has to be with the intent of making it better than it could have been at that time.
Yes.
Exactly. Like, I think the most famous example of that in like movies, at least, is Ocean's 11, because the original's Ocean's 11 was with Frank Sinatra and his group of the Rat Pack or whatever they're called.
I don't know, the merry band of murderers and thieves.
Yeah, and it was just like completely awful, and he never wants to see it again. And then they remade that movie with of course, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, every other guy who appeared on Sexiest Man Alive in the 90s. and then they made it into a great movie. So like, why are we spending our time remaking already great movies knowing that they'll never live up to that?
Yeah, I think that the video game community, has, like you said, it's different for us. I say that in the broad term because the point of a remake in gaming is, like you said, to up graphics or all of that. But I think that there are a lot of games that do remakes really well. Like I feel like the Resident Evil remakes that have been recently coming out are really great. And I think that the Final Fantasy VII remake is killer in my opinion. It's probably the best remake of a video game out there because it's expanding on the story in a way that they weren't able to. And that it is pure to the original intent because they took the directors and the music writers and they took all the people that created the old game and they brought in the new people with the new technology and the new know-how and all of that. And they combined their ideas and told the story in a way that they could not have with the technical limitations at the time. It's like that's the purest form of a remake. And like you said, like when the bar is set so high by something that's already great movie and already great, piece of media, and remaking that just because with no intentions of well, I mean, I'm sure everyone has intentions to make it better, but it's mostly an intent to pander towards an audience and get some money. Like it's gonna fall flat. Unless
Give
it
us some
kicks
money.
ass. Give us some money.
Yeah, it's like trying to like remake the Mona Lisa and like sell it to like the Louvre or whatever.
That's another thing. What if you apply this to media, like all kinds of media? So you can do it in video games, and video games makes the most sense. Remakes makes the most sense. Movies is harder for me to understand. Books or art or music are all strange.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only place that remakes really fit is with the games. But you say what you were going.
I was about to say, I think they can work in music too, because like you don't really think of like a cover as a remake, but that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's like an artist's like unique take on the song. Most of the time,
it's a unique take on this song. There are remakes that are like epic orchestral remakes. I think that music makes sense and gaming makes sense, but I feel like anything when it comes to like something that is universal, I guess, if that makes sense, where like writing it's universal. When once you've written something, you can't republish it differently.
You can't, but you can make a movie of it. Is a movie based on a book a remake?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh.
I mean, technically.
Yeah.
You're remaking that piece of media in a different form of media.
Let's see. You're taking I think in that case, like the goal is to like add to it.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like we're doing what we could not with those technical limitations. Not necessarily, in today's day and age when we make a movie off of a book written, I don't know, in 2002. But it's just like the technical limitations of having it be in a book and putting that in a visual format.
Yeah, Total Recall itself was adapted from a short story that it bears very little resemblance to.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
You're telling me somebody wrote a short story and someone was like, let's make it a movie. wasn't. It was okay movie. I think it was okay. I liked it, but it wasn't like the greatest. Not my type of movie. I'm not really an action movie person. So, and all the shooting, the blood. Anyways, neither here or there. But they made a movie of it, and then a couple years later, they're like, we need to make another one.
And then in both of those movies, they were like, you know what we need? You know what would really round out this viewing experience? A woman with not one, not two, but 3 whole ass titties right there on her chest.
Shower him in money.
This guy's a genius.
That's what it was missing. That's why we adapt.
That's why we remade it. That's it.
Do you think they tried it with a woman with 4 tits, or they're like, that's too many?
That's too many. No,
That's
4
too
tits
many.
is too many.
It just looks like a cow now.
Yeah. At that point, it's just a cow. Like, what's the what? But no, 3 tits. That's an odd number.
It's the rule of
perfect.
3.
It's the rule of 3.
It's the comedy rule of 3.
No, it's the thing. Like, think about it. 3 is a prime number. And that's it. That's all it's got going for it.
I was so excited for that.
2 is also a prime number.
But when do you see 3s in nature?
Everywhere.
Yeah, they're in forests.
Shut up.
You walk into a forest, there's just a 3 hanging out there.
And you said
All of the 3s and the 4th.
all the 3s and the 4th. That was the stupidest joke.
I agree.
And yeah, I am ashamed that came out of my mouth. Almost ashamed as that 3-titted lady should be. I mean, seriously,
what?
someone is that like
Being
did
born
she,
that way?
Yeah.
I don't think she was born
Was
that
she?
way.
But do you know?
Oh, yeah, she was mutated.
Yeah, she was mutated. She's not an alien or anything, which is what I thought when we were watching it. I was like, aliens, it's aliens. And then I was like, but there's no aliens. Wait a minute.
but was the actress? Does she have 3 tits?
Oh, no, Taylor, no.
But does she?
No.
How do you know?
How do you know?
What do you mean? How do I know? They look fake as fuck. What do you mean?
That doesn't mean they're not real.
That's true.
I
Real tits can
guess.
look fake as fuck.
Not in the 1990s. The 2012, yeah, maybe they're real, but
Oh man. Why? 3 whole tits. 3 of them.
why are we focusing on this?
Because they really, really made a big deal out of it in the movie. Like, it wasn't, they lingered.
It was in one scene. It was like 10 minutes out of the movie. If they made a big deal about it, it would be in every shot in the movie.
It was big enough to bring it back.
I guess.
C'est la vie.
The real kicker would have been if they brought her back at the very end of the movie.
Oh my
But
goodness.
she was fine this whole time.
Yeah, wow, her boobs, her third boob is gone
She
now.
sacrificed her third boob
Yeah,
to live.
it's flattened. That one got like she lost the third boob, but now she's just got a nipple. But she's
like
okay,
where-
guys. She's okay.
I don't like where we gone. I don't like it.
Hey, remember when this was media for the intellectually impoverished?
Remember when they talked about 3 tits for like a really long time?
That was my favorite episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
I put that on the workout every morning. Workout playlist.
Can you imagine if we had a workout mix? Like it was just a MFTII workout mix, and it's just us going like,
You got it.
yeah.
Keep
Anyway,
going.
this is media for the intellectual.
ASMR workout playlist.
ASMR, yeah.
That's got to be a thing. ASMR workout. Come on.
Probably, because there's ASMR everything. But
Yeah.
that seems counterintuitive because I thought ASMR was to put you to sleep.
ASMR is to calm you.
Why
But
do
maybe someone needs really quiet motivation. You got this. I believe in you. Pump that iron. 3 more reps. Let's go.
Someone's getting down to this right now.
Oh God! Someone's pumping the iron. Oh God! Oh God! What were we talking about before?
I'm gonna bring up the budget.
Bring up the budget.
Okay. Because there was no good time to bring it up, but I'm gonna do it now. Even though it's not important, I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay, so the first movie they spent Um, 60 million on it. That's a big budget. I did
the original?
not. Yeah, on the original, did not think it had that high of a
Well,
budget.
think about it. I mean, all of the props and the all of that. The whole movie was done with special effects, not with virtual effects. It's all made in camera, and so
like
all
practical.
practical is that's what I mean. And you've got all those characters that are mutated, all the background characters, and you've got all of the explosions and stuff. That's all practical effects. So that's not cheap. That costs a lot of money.
And then it made 261 million, so it
Ooh.
quadrupled its budget.
Wow, 261 million.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about that for a minute. Do you know what I would do if I had $261 million?
I don't know. What would you do? Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. I know where it's going. Don't do it.
I don't know where it's going.
I'd find a woman
Oh,
with
with
not one, not two, but 3 whole ass tits on her chest.
Why can't you just do that now?
Because he doesn't have the money.
I don't have $261 million.
You can't travel the world yet.
Yeah, no, I don't have the money for that.
I'm letting you know right now that cannot be the title of this episode. That cannot. It will not.
The new title of the episode is Randy didn't like the title for this episode.
Redacted.
I already did a redacted joke.
Redact it.
The second one had a budget of 125 million, so more money. And then it made about the same amount. It made 200 million.
Oh, so it actually, okay, good. So it made a profit.
It did make a profit. It didn't make as much of a profit as the first one did,
Well,
but
that
it's
makes
still
perfect
like
sense.
more than doubled its money.
I think it's just, when it comes to remakes, it's such a delicate process because you have to walk the thin line of, I want the people that saw the original to come and see it and enjoy it. I also want to draw in new people to come and see it and enjoy it. It's just like that tightrope is so thin and so fragile. You lean just barely the wrong direction, and then you lose half of the people that you're trying to get. And that's the problem with a remake. It's why I don't recommend people make remakes, except in the gaming community when the purpose of it is to expand the technological inadequacies of the time the game came out.
Got a question for you.
Hit me. Don't actually hit me. I
Dang
saw it in your face. I saw it.
I'll punch you right in the kidney.
No, no, not again.
Full circle.
You're gonna cry on the podcast.
No, I don't want you to do that again.
No, he hasn't cried yet on the podcast. Do it.
But my question is though, when it comes to video games, like in a series that you love, so you like Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I love Final Fantasy.
Would you rather see a remake of your favorite game or a sequel that takes cues from your favorite game?
So here's the thing: the Final Fantasy is a difficult one to pin that on because there are 15 original Final Fantasy storylines with multiple branches of, some of the storylines have multiple branches off of them. Like there's Final Fantasy X, there's Final Fantasy X-2, there's movies, spinoffs. So the thing that I would say is there comes a point once you hit far enough back when it's like, I would like to see those remade to their fullest in the way that I see the newest one. So the most recent, before the remake of Final Fantasy VII, the most recent Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 15, which is a beautiful open world game about camaraderie and retaking your kingdom. And it is by far one of my top 5 favorite games that I've ever played. I wish that I could go back into that game without knowing what was going to happen. But that game it's brilliant. There's so much to do. It's very intricate. It's very well designed, and you can see all of the things that they meant, and all of the beats land. And I think that the stories of the older games are strong enough to be retold, but with this ability to deepen what the original directors had in mind. Now, the main problem with that being is there, maybe those directors aren't around anymore, or maybe they're not making games anymore, or maybe they've moved on to other projects. and other parts of their lives, and maybe they're not working for Square Enix anymore. And it's just like the only reason I'd want to see that is if you, as the director, believe your story has more to tell. Because the Final Fantasy Final Fantasy VII remake is, I think, probably, like I said, it's the best remake, and it's because the director knew he had more to tell and knew what he wanted to tell and how he could tell it. All of that in a roundabout way to say that I think that if the directors and the creators of those stories believe there is more to tell and want to tell it, I think that they have every right to create a remake of those games. And like, who am I to tell you no, you don't get to tell your story? Like, tell your story, tell it as in depth as you want, and with the technology that we have today, in the best way possible. So I mean, I would love to see some remakes of more Final Fantasy games. There's a bunch of different ways to retell a story or continue a story, but it's just like, it's down to what story there is left to tell, So don't overstay your welcome with a story.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
I think that the general consensus we come to every time we talk about remakes is like, be passionate about the story you're telling and know when your story's over.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is know when it's time to stop.
Yeah.
Because there are stories that go on forever, and that's fine. But
some of them are made like that.
Yeah.
Some of them, you have all of those characters and people and different like ways that you can go off there from the beginning. But if you're constantly adding in new characters that weren't there, or new stories or new backstories that weren't originally there, it's not good.
Yeah, not good. But let's get on to recommendations.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
I don't know what to say though.
What do you mean? You already said your favorite remake? Say it again.
I can't. I've already recommended it so many times.
Okay,
I feel
well,
bad.
pick another one.
I'll go find a new one on the internet.
This is the part of the podcast where we quickly try and find our recommendation. While you guys do that, I'm going to talk about Disney again because I already know mine. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in the second episode that we recorded. I don't remember which one I recommended then, but there are a lot of Disney remakes that are actually really good. So I think then I recommended Beauty and the Beast. Now I'm going to recommend The Jungle Book, which I know I also talked about in that episode, but it's just a really good job. Like the graphics of it are amazing in that it's not live action. What do you call that? The new Jungle Book.
The new Jungle Book, it's CGI.
Yeah,
I mean,
CGI.
It's a mixed, because I mean the only human character is the kid whose name
Mowgli.
Mowgli. But then the rest of them are CGI animals. So
okay.
I mean, I would say it's live action, but it's not. But it is.
It's strange. But I'd recommend The Jungle Book. It's really good, and it takes a lot. Obviously, it's the same storyline as the first one, but it adds on to it in interesting ways. Again, when you're talking about Disney movies, because Disney movies are pander towards kids, especially the animated ones. I feel like the remakes are for a broader audience, and the animated movies were so short, and the second Jungle Book, or the remake of the Jungle Book, is a lot longer, so you go in depth with the characters a lot more, and you get a richer story, I think.
Would you like to go next, Mr.
Nice.
Guest?
Yeah, sure. My favorite remake, movie wise, is the 2007 version of Hairspray, because like not a lot of people know this, but the original Hairspray was, I think it was in the 80s, and it was a lot more serious than the musical version.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were both musicals. I haven't seen the original, but I have seen the remake, and I loved it.
It counts.
Because like it was just like so, so fun, so happy, so upbeat, like it's just so heartwarming. And like I have so many songs just saved to my phone.
My smart device.
Yeah, it's actually my 17th favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I keep a list.
How high does the list go? Like you got a top 20 or top 50?
25.
That's
top
half
25. Let me see. How many movies have I? There's an app that lets you keep track of it.
Yeah, Letterboxd.
Letterboxd.
We are not sponsored by Letterboxd. We are in fact sponsored by 3 fake ass titties.
I'm getting a cut of that revenue, right? can't tell if it's real.
I think it was definitely the fact that no one was expecting me to say that, and I slid it in so quick.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, no one in the world could have seen that coming.
Yeah, I think and I can't believe I didn't think of this until just now. But my favorite remake, not my favorite remake, but one of the best remakes I've ever seen is the Shadow of the Colossus remake. It is gorgeous. It is, I mean, it is tit for tat the same story, but like I was saying, because of the technical limitations at the time, you know, it doesn't have. I know what I said.
Again?
Listen, okay?
I love that you got that because we were both like, he said it.
It wasn't until I noticed you looking at me that I was like, oh.
It is the same story, tit for tat, and because of the original came out in the early 2000s on the PlayStation 2, it just, you know, it didn't look the way that they wanted it to. But the PS4 remake, or technically a remaster of the game, just is the most gorgeous game I think I've ever played. It just is beautiful. The cinematography in the game is beautiful. I don't say that often, but the game is very, 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 very beautiful to look at. So I definitely recommend, especially if you played the original Shadow and you loved it, then go and play the remake. It is totally worth it. So where can we find you on social medias? You know, where are you at?
So the one that I care about most is I'd say YouTube, Topographical Gang.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any work specifically that they can check out?
Ooh, let's see. We recently put out a song called Hands Off, which we entered into a 48-hour film competition put on by Jack's Films. So I'm really proud of it. It's a song that I completely composed, wrote, sang with Josh and Leo helping, and did it all in 48 hours. So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah,
one.
I heard it was less than 48 hours. I heard you guys got it done in like 30 hours.
Yeah, we finished the edit Saturday night. So it went from Friday at noon to Sunday at noon.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday at about midnight was when we got it uploaded.
Okay.
But we didn't release it until Sunday morning.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys just knocked it out of the park, and it was all you directed. You had written everything, like
that little modest smile. That's a big deal. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you got a 2.5, 3-minute long music video done in 30 hours.
Yeah,
that's
incredible.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
So yeah,
thank you for helping.
No, I mean, I would just look like Pedro Pascal for the first 2 minutes.
You did.
God,
yeah,
I never made that connection before.
It
But it's uncanny.
is. It's weird.
Uncanny.
But
I tell people, and then now they can't stop seeing it, and they tell me every time they see me, like, you really do look like. I'm like, shut up.
No, I think you're the one bringing it up because I have never. I hang out with you on a daily basis, and I have never brought it up once, and you talk about it once a day.
It's other people. It's other people.
No, it's not.
It is.
It is not.
It is. I swear.
I like her version more because I envision you going like, hey, do you think I look like Pedro Pascal? Yeah, you do. Shut up.
I swear, that's it. That's exactly it. You'll pull up your Twitter and we'll start going through your tweets or something because you're like, oh, I had something funny. And then we'll scroll down to where you made the connection that you look like Pedro Pascal. And you're like, don't I look like Pedro Pascal?
Shut up. Shut up. Any other pieces up that you think you want people to check out?
No, the rest suck. No, I'm just kidding.
That's hardcore.
Wow, you really convinced.
No, I really like all of the recent stuff we've been putting out. I could tell you, it'd be a shorter list of what I don't want you to watch, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't want you to watch it.
There you go.
Just don't scroll past 2020.
Yeah.
There you go.
What is, other than Hands Off, what is your other favorite thing you've directed on the channel?
I think it might be the drunk driving video
Mm-hmm.
because it was a really fun one to do. Almost crashed Chris's car,
Nice.
Whoa.
but didn't.
But didn't. But
There's a part where I hit the tree in the video.
You weren't supposed to hit the
I
tree.
was
were
definitely
you?
not supposed to hit the tree. No, we were in the parking lot by the gym, and so like you know how they have those kind of like trees encased with like the little cement barrier.
Yeah.
So like all the time, like they were telling me like, you need to go faster when you're driving. And so, but I was like going in reverse the whole time. And so, they're like, you need to go faster because Chris is outrunning you because I wasn't pushing on the gas because I didn't want to crash his car. It was his car. And so, so the next one I got in, I'm going fast. I hit the gas, I turn a bit, and then like Daniel just screams, "Wait!" And then I hear, and I'm like, "Oh no. I'm about to owe Chris so much money."
Oh no!
And so, turn the car off, get out of the car. I'm freaking out. Go to the side, and it's nothing. There's nothing on it. I just scraped the branches, not hit the tree
You
trunk.
dented the tree.
I dented the tree. I paid the tree back, but
Good, nice.
but fortunately, Chris's car would not fall apart by my hands, but by several manufacturers. He had to get it back in the shop because like the engine could have exploded.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and he's missing a door handle on the passenger side now.
Oh, that's
So,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Any other socials that you want to plug?
Sure. My Twitter is Sonjon, SONJON_. If you want my sports rants, pretty much, and various other funny tweets that come to mind. I have an Instagram. I think it's the same name.
They'll find out.
Yeah, you
You'll
will.
find out.
That's pretty much it. I'm not plugging my Facebook. I haven't been on it in years.
No, MySpace.
And my MySpace is
Yeah.
No! Bit stealer.
That's me. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on this intellectual journey. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
Listen, okay, so I said tit for tat because it's the thing that you say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you say so.
Shut up. Okay, whatever. Media for the Intellectually Impoverished is produced by Trey Taylor Smith and Miranda Randi Zapes.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at MFTII Podcast or email us at mftiipodcast@gmail.com.
That's MFT 2 Eyes Podcast. Thanks for listening.